Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. It's Friday and we have a sports day for you today. We've got two special guests and they're going to introduce themselves shortly, but they represent Qatar in the under-19s for cricket. So this is going to be a fantastic show. We've got Patrick and we've got Kalith. Please welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
So I'm going to start with you, Patrick. I want to know your story. How did you get to Qatar?
Well, my dad initially came here around 17 years ago, alone, while me and my mom and sister were back in Sri Lanka. And then eventually, after he settled in Qatar, we came here. So technically, I've been here 16 years and was raised here, and I grew up here.
Ah, perfect. So you can represent Qatar right now. So that's why you're playing for Qatar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Kalith, what's your story?
Yeah, so it's pretty much actually similar to Romelo. My dad moved here in 2007 in search of a job. Once he found a job, my mom was pregnant at the time when he came here. And then once she had given birth and all of that, we moved here in 2008. So I was six. I was 6 when I moved here. And I've been here now on the verge of 13 years. So yeah.
So the best part of your life you've been here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what is it like to be playing for Qatar in cricket? Patrick, I'll go with you first.
It feels good, you know. I feel like when I was raised in Qatar, I was not really, that fond of football or any other sport, but I was really fond of cricket. So I feel happy that I've achieved the level of cricket to represent the national team.
It's a magnificent achievement to you both. Fantastic achievement. What's it like for you, Kalith?
I started playing cricket as soon as I got here. And I think for me, growing up here and playing that sport from the year, like maybe I moved here and up till now, that's like the only connection I have back to home, like Sri Lanka. Like the main connection that we have from Sri Lanka. So having that really is a really good thing for me, and I think for Romelo as well.
Who is your drive? And again, I'll start with you this time, Kalith. Who's been your driving force?
100%. I think my dad. He's the one who put me into the sport. I never knew anything about cricket until he sent me for my first practice and signed me up and all of that. Until now, he's done everything. He's gotten me all the gear. He's paid for my coaching. So yeah, it's all from him basically.
And what about you, Patrick?
For me, it's technically my grandfather, because when I was young, we used to go back to Sri Lanka a lot, almost every year for vacation. And he would really just play with me almost at least 3 hours a day. And I got a really good liking for it. And then since then, my dad's been supporting me like mad. He's helped me with everything I have. And that's how I got here.
That's just brilliant. That's fantastic. And it's like fathers are like that, right? When they've got children.
Yeah.
I know with my kids, you want to push them as much as possible. So which is, with you two, and I'm going to maybe get you both into trouble now, which is your priorities? Is it cricket or is it your education?
Good question.
It's a very good question.
I think at this moment in life for both of us, when we're in our final years of high school, I think our main aim is just to do well in our education and graduate so we can get into university and then go on from there. So I think at this moment, I think education might be our main aim, but cricket is the close second.
That's very true.
Same for you, Patrick? I'm calling you Patrick.
Yeah.
Is it Romelo? It's your, what should I call you?
Well, so my first name is Patrick, but everyone knows me by Romelo, so you can call me anything.
Romelo. Okay, I'll call you by that as well. Seeing that's it. So who's been? And I know this sounds. So we're going to get into cricket and how you started playing for Qatar, but who has been your role models? Why did you? It's like who's been? I know that you said your fathers have been a big influence in you. They could be the answer to this question too. But who's been your role models? Who have you always looked up to from a personal perspective and a sports perspective?
That's a very good question.
For me, I would say I have like maybe 3. I would first say my dad. His drive for what he does has been really enlightening to me. And if I take someone from the sports side of it, I would say my favorite cricket player, who's Sri Lankan Mahela Jayawardene. Him, and as well as my favorite football player, Lionel Messi. So I think all three of them have given me the motivation to do what I do.
And yourself, Romelo?
Oh, well, for me, it's my parents because my dad and my mom have reached a stage in their life of professional sports. So for me, it drove me in a way that I can, I want to continue that family tradition and get my level to that high level of professional sports.
So at what ages did you start cricket? What ages?
Well, I started when I was like 6 or 7. And
I started when I was 8. So.
Oh, and has it always been cricket that you've had a love for, or was there anything else?
Mainly, I would say cricket, but then there were always other sports that we played in school and represented the school team, like say football, volleyball, basketball. But I think our main aim was just to focus on cricket.
And yourself?
Well, for me, cricket was the main aim. That was the only sport that I actually took advice on from coaches and stuff. But I did represent school in sports like swimming and basketball. So mainly it was cricket, to be honest.
And with I know that both of you do a lot of training, and it's a big part of obviously playing at this level. How much training do you do, and where do you do the training? How much training do you do on a weekly basis? And I'll come to you first, Kalith.
For me, I would say 5 or 6 days out of 7. Because for me, it does include school practice on one day. Then we have club practice 2 days a week, sometimes matches on Fridays. And then we have national team practice 2 days a week as well.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And is it the same for you as well, Romelo?
It's the same for me, but I don't have school practice, so I would have individual practice on those days. So just get conditioned.
And a little bit of information that I've got. You're the captain for the under-19s, right?
No, it's not true.
No, I thought that you were the captain. I do apologise. Must be another team that you were. So, how did you both manage to get into the Qatar under-19s national team?
Well, for me, I found out about the selecting phase, I think, in 2015, and I tried out, and I failed the first round. So the next year when I tried again, I somehow got in, and since then I've been going on.
Yeah, that must have been a really proud moment for you.
It was a very proud moment. A lot of hard work saved up for it.
Yeah, and Kalith, I've actually seen you in the nets, and you're pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you because you play at the Stallions Academy, which is a fantastic place to play. The nets in the facilities are brilliant there. That's how we met, right?
Yeah, we met there actually. We met when you were setting up your football.
Yeah.
Football.
So with this COVID that we're going through now, what's the next plans for you with your next matches? When are you going to be playing your next matches for Qatar?
Right now we have little to no idea of when our next games will be. We haven't had practice for quite a few months now, but there are rumors that there might be a few tours coming up. So yeah, towards the end of this year and the beginning of next year.
So you're both, I know that you're both best of friends.
Yeah.
So you play well together, but what is it like when you're playing against each other?
Have we played against each other?
We have, when we're in the clubs, they would split us up into separate teams. But for us, it just drives us to play more, the competitiveness.
Yeah, we push each other.
Yeah, we test each other in many ways, especially in the nets. It's like a huge competition, but we know that we're making each other better. So we always try to give 100% at each other.
No, it's really, really, that's really great. And I'm going to start with you now, Romelo.
Mm-hmm.
What is your speciality in cricket? Is it batting? Is it bowling? Is it kind of?
It's bowling for me. I opened the bowling for Qatar under 19, left arm fast bowler. So.
And do you put it? I'm just using terminology. I know cricket to a certain degree, but do you put it up? When do you put that ball up into the ribs?
To Kalith, yes, a lot. Most of the time at the head.
In the
yeah.
nets a lot. I actually got a bad bruise up on my chest after practice.
So it's quite competitive, you're telling me.
Yeah, between me and Kalith, it's always competitive, but it's for a greater good.
Kalith, when you hit him, do you hit him good?
Sometimes, otherwise he gets the best of me.
Is he a good bowler?
Yeah, he's really good. He has lots of speed. He's from the past few years, he's actually grown a lot. So challenging.
Yeah, that's really good. And with the with yours, I know that you do a bit of batting and a bit of bowling.
Yeah.
With you, Kalith. How difficult is it on your body to do that? Do you get any pains at this stage, or do you get niggles, or what kind of?
I've had a few, but over the years I've gotten used to doing both. So, but now sometimes when I take big breaks and then I come back, I do get niggles at the start, but then once they wear off, I'm all good.
And Romelo, it's like, so what would you class him as a bowler? How would you class him as a bowler? Do you like facing him when you're batting?
No.
Yeah, it's quite fun facing Kalith when he's bowling because it increases our competitiveness.
Yeah. And what about you? He's a bit fast.
It's quite fast, yeah. But I've gotten used to it. Most of the times I'm pretty used to it.
Okay, let's go back to Romelo. Let's go back to your batting. How good are you at the batting? Do you knock him around?
I knock him around quite a bit actually because I don't focus on my batting as much. But time to time I would just hit him for a few.
And this brings me on to the next question. What is it that you like when you're in the game? Because I'm going back. I'm 53. I keep on saying this to people, but I remember going back. All I wanted to do was win the game, no matter what I was doing. Whether it was because I was a wicket keeper, I was never a bowler. But all I wanted to do was I wanted to be the hero in catching the catch, or in batting. What is it that you like best? Is it that obviously it's a bowling, but do you still like the batting, Romelo? Is it something that you'd love to? Have you won the game before with your batting?
I have. Sometimes it's more of me playing a supportive role because if I'm there's normally a better batsman with me. So me being supportive is the way to go. But,
I like you. You're pretty good at your answers. You're coming up with some good ones. What about you? Are you very competitive, Kalith?
I am pretty competitive, and as a top order batsman, my aim is actually to stay there till the end and see the game through. So if a scenario, if it was me there, Romelo would be a great supporting role for me. Yeah. And the second thing I love about cricket is my fielding. Fielding is I love to field. Anywhere in the field if the captain tells me to go, I will go.
And what is it like for both of you? What is it like standing under a catch when it's gone right up in the air and you're standing there? What is going through your mind?
Basically, don't drop it. That's what's going through my mind.
Don't drop it. And with the rest of the team saying, catching, they're shouting. You just have to block all the noise out and just focus on the ball.
Yeah.
And the part that I like, and when I see it, is when you do take a wicket. So what's it like when you're running in and you're a fast bowler, you're running in, and do you want to try and put fear into the batsman?
Oh, 100%. That's one of the major things I like to do is, if the batsman's scared of you, you're doing your job correctly. So.
And what's all this kind of? Do you give a bit of sledge? I've heard the Australians. The Australians are the best at it, but so is Sri Lanka and India. What's it like with the sledging? Does that go on?
It does.
Yeah, it does.
But if we're sledging, it's mostly between me and Kalith if we're in separate games.
Yeah. If we're in different teams, it's between us.
Yeah.
Just for the fun.
Yeah, it's kind of it. And what's it like to be part of a team? What's it like to be part of this team? And especially when you get somebody out, what's the feeling like?
It's amazing actually, to be honest. You get someone out, the whole team's like is it's like if you get a wicket, the whole team gets like a huge adrenaline boost and everyone's happy,
Yeah, motivation, huge
motivation,
motivation boost. A
and
massive
everyone
example
supports each
for
other. Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that is we played my school actually under 16 finals, school finals. We were getting trashed by Pakshama, this Pakistani school. They were around 40 runs in 4 overs, so that means they were scoring like 10 runs an over. And then me and this other bowler, we came in and we got a massive breakthrough. We got the big hitter out, and then one after the other wickets kept falling, and they got all out for 105 actually. Unluckily, we lost that game though. But to see how the team rallied together after getting a beating like that and getting them all out for such a low score, that was really nice.
I think coming together as a team is just a magnificent sport to do. And okay, you've got you've got a lot of people. What's the types of nationalities within that team?
It's a very diverse team. So we have a lot of Pakistanis, Indians, Sri Lankans. That's just much it actually. But we're all from different cultures, but we all come to play that one sport, right? So it all come together eventually.
Yeah, we all does unite us. The sport unites all the different nations and all of that just unite.
Yeah.
And listening to you two young guys saying just that is just absolutely perfect, because sport is one of those things that can bring down barriers. It's like there is no nationalities when you've got, okay, if you're competing against another nationality, that's another thing. But when you're playing together, I don't think there's anything that you forget everything that's going on in the world, and you're just there to play and be part of that team.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I'm gonna take you to some difficult questions now. What is it like? And I'll start with you, Romelo. What is it like from a training perspective? How much effort do you have to put? What have you gone through to get into this team?
Gone through a lot actually. I've gone through many coaches and a lot of different details. I had to change up a lot about my game throughout the years, for the good, obviously. But it meant I had to put a lot of work into it. And for me, putting in the work's not the problem. Is that the motivation to always go to practice and work is always a struggle for me. But because of my parents, I always get motivated. They spend money on me and everything, and my coaches spending their time. And it's always been good support that motivated me to work this hard. And now I'm here.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Kalith? What's the hard things that you've gone through?
For me, it was actually the transition from being a fast bowler to a spin bowler. Actually, my current coach, who coached Romelo from a very young age, actually, he took me under his wing, and he saw that I'm actually a better off spinner than a fast bowler. So transitioning from that, I'm still working on transitioning it now, because I still have a few mistakes with my wrist and all of that, and releasing the ball. So I think that would be the hardest thing I've gone through. And as well, at such a young age for me at Romelo to be doing the same training that people who are in their mid-20s, early 20s, the same things they're doing at such a young, and we're doing the same thing at such a young age. I think that was very hard as well.
I think, and you're playing, you're both 17. Let me get this right, please. And you're playing for the under-19s, but you've been playing in this team for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on 3 years now for me.
For me.
Sorry.
Yeah, for me 2 years. Romelo's been there for 1 year more than me.
So you've been playing in the under-19s for this long at such a young age?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Your parents must be so proud of you both.
Yeah, it was a big relief actually, because a lot of work, especially at a young age for us to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best reward, making them happy for all the work they've put in to making both our cricket careers thrive. I think that's the best reward we can get, by making them happy.
I think you commenting on this now is going to make them very, very happy. It's like you honestly, from a father's perspective, you're making them proud just by saying these type of things. It's like it's just wonderful. And going on to how difficult it is to mix your school side of things and your sports. How difficult is that? It's like, how much do you sacrifice?
It's actually pretty hard because I missed out. I didn't go on. I think Romelo didn't go as well.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, we didn't go on a tour because we had our O-level exams, IGCSEs. So we actually had to skip that tour because it was smack in the middle of our mocks.
And same for you. You both. So you had the same problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, but a lot to sacrifice meant like we didn't get that much free time, you know, for like to hang out with our friends and stuff. It's mostly if you're free, it's either cricket or it's homework or studying. So we had to create a big balance, and it was challenging. Got through it though. About to finish.
And the reason why I'm asking these things, for the simple reason, people just don't, they see you representing the country, and they don't see the sacrifices that you've got to make to have got there.
That's true.
I think
So-
the time we've put into training, from going to school, coming home at like 3 in the afternoon, and then quick turnaround for practice at 5:30 till around 8:30, then coming
Yeah.
home, having to do our homework late at night, and waking up again for the same routine the next day. So I think
It was pretty
one
challenging.
of the biggest sacrifices.
And so I'm hoping this is going to be a really difficult question for you both. Okay. What's your and not, it could be sport or it could be something else. What's your ambition? What do you want ultimately? Do you want to be? I'll start with you, Kalith.
Okay. I think my main aim is actually to represent Qatar, the senior team, because right now in the under-19s, just to represent Qatar as the senior team, at least once, just to be a part of a senior national team would be one of my biggest ambitions. But even if I don't get that opportunity, wherever I go for university, cricket will be one of the main decision-making things for me, for which uni I choose.
Great answer. Great answer. And what do you want to be if you had to choose a profession also?
For me, I have two different paths. I want to go either down business management or sports psychology.
That's a really big area.
Yeah.
That is a very big area because there's a lot of people, and it's quite surprising how many sports people need sports psychology right now, especially young people and people that don't actually make it or that they're struggling just to break through. I think that's a really great line to go down. But fantastic that you want to go for the national team. What about you? What is your hopes and dreams?
Well, mine in terms of cricket is the same as Kalith. Like, I would like to represent the Qatar team at least once before I leave. And if I don't, depending on I choose my university depending if I get to play cricket there or not, because it's a big part of my life, a lot of years of work, so I would like to continue it. But other than that, my main goal right now is to represent Qatar in terms of cricket.
And I'm going to ask you a really kind of, how do you like, and I'll come back to you, Kalith, what's Qatar done for you when it comes from a cricket perspective?
It's done a lot, you know, for me. When you come to Qatar, you don't really expect to be that, like, cricket to be that common, even though it doesn't look like it is. There's a few academies there, and the support you get from other people when you say you want to be a cricketer is really, really good. And I've worked with over 20 people during this period from a young age to playing for national team. And, you know, the support has been great. And that's why I would like to represent Qatar. It's given me so much so that I can represent it. And I feel like it's a good opportunity.
And you, Kalith?
Yeah, it's the same actually, because we've gone through so many coaches here and they've always wanted us to represent the national team. So just to give back to them for all the effort and time they've put into our careers, just to show them that they did something and give them that satisfaction to see their students in the senior national team.
Qatar is something special because they do promote individuals like yourself, and it's wonderful to have the two of you on the show today because you're perfect examples. You're committed to your schoolwork, you're committed to your families. Both of you, as you've just said now, both of your role models are your parents, your mother, your father, your father. It's so important, and you're two decent young men. And what Qatar does from a sports perspective, from across the globe, across all sporting fields. They just push and encourage and support. It's really good, and you're backing that up. It's like have you got brothers and sisters that like cricket as well, or is it just you that's the cricketers in the family?
It's just me.
Just me. Yeah.
Lucky, huh?
Yeah.
It would have been just
No
too much
competition.
competition, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And what's it like? Because I'm going to cricket this evening, by the way, and I'm going to go into the nets. And
Okay.
I don't know if it's like you, but do you look forward to putting the pads on and then getting ready for the cricket? What's it like when you're in the changing rooms?
It's really, what's the word? It motivates us, and we feel that adrenaline rush and all of that just to get out there and start playing.
Yeah.
If you were captains, what do you want to do if you won the toss? Are you going into bat or are you going to go a bowl?
Well, it really depends on the pitch, to be honest, and the
It
ground
depends
and
on the pitch
conditions.
and the team we're playing.
Of course.
Yeah.
But is there a part of you that the passion is like, let me bowl first, let me bowl?
Yeah, bat first. I think for me, I was captaining my school team. I've captained them for the past 2 years, and just not to go with what I want to do and go what's best for the team. That's also been hard, just to say if I want to bat first because I'm not opening, top order batsman, just to be able to bat in the first innings because you have the time to take your time and bat rather than chasing down a target. But if it was bowling first for the team, if that's what was good, then I would have gone for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I've captained our club team for like 3 years now, and the coaches have really taught you that the team always comes first and how to assess everything in the ground and make sure you make the right decision for the team. So for me, there's no conscience in picking whatever I like or not. It's mostly what the team would succeed in the most.
It's kind of I've played in team sports, and I don't think that there's anything that can beat it, especially when all your team is relying on you. I remember going into the dressing rooms and I didn't talk to anybody. I just wanted to get my mind straight. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to perform with the team, and I just wanted at the end of it when you shook hands, and you wanted people to come to you because you had a good game. That was my biggest thing. It's like that's what I used to love, because if you had a good game, everybody was going to shake your hand, right?
Yeah.
So with this, you're playing for the national. When do you think you're going to be able to step up? And I know this is a difficult question, right? So when do you think you're going to be playing for the national team, the full one? Come on. Tell everybody in that national team I'm chasing you down. Come on, tell them. When are you going to be playing?
As under 19 players, I think first we need to perform on that level to the best of our abilities. And I think, I don't know if Romelo has done, but I don't think I've pushed myself enough in the under 19 level to deserve a spot in the senior team. So I think in the next few tours, if I have a few more tours left, I would have to push myself and do the best I can to get the eyes of the national team coach and get that spot.
For you to be performing in this team in the under 19s for quite a lot of time and taking in your ages into account, you must be two special players. Let me tell you both. You must be two special players because the competition must be quite high. I'm going to ask you both the same question now. Is what would be your advice to a new Romelo or a Kalith? What would be the biggest advice to a young budding cricketer right now? What advice would you give them?
I would just say stay committed to the sport and stay committed to the hard work, because getting that national team spot you can't get it without doing that hard work prior to playing for the national team. So just sticking and balancing your education and the cricket as well, just keeping a good balance between the two and just keep working hard towards your goal. I think that's good advice to give a young budding cricketer who's starting.
Yeah,
And
and also about like listening to your coaches. If you trust your coach will always help you. So, that advice you can't get from a random stranger. A coach is a very special person if you're in any sport, to be honest. They always have your back and they'll teach you where to go and how to make yourself better. So it will be listening to your coach and also to not give up. It's really hard to get into a national team. So even if you like fail in your first round, you should not stop. Keep trying. You will eventually get there because we've been trying for so long, and
Yeah.
it's a huge satisfaction if you don't give up on yourself and you finally get it. You're so satisfied.
I'm going to ask you another question. What did you feel like when you were going to be coming on the podcast and talk about cricket? How were you feeling today?
Um, being the first podcast I've done or the first interview I've done as a cricketer, it was quite nerve-wracking, but I was excited to just show people our journey and our story.
Yeah, it was like it's. I feel excited, but I feel happy because whoever watches this will probably get motivated to try as well, and eventually they will get somewhere.
I've been lucky. I've been lucky enough that I've interviewed quite a few sports people, sports businessmen, and I'll be honest with you. You're a credit to your family and a credit to your teammates and a credit to the national team. You are two of the nicest young men that I've met when it comes to national sports. And you're so humble, you're so hardworking, it's just, I can't shout enough about you. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. And you've done yourselves justice and you've done your family justice with coming on the show today and talking about your experiences. It's like, I hope you do come back on the show. What I'm going to do with both of you is I want you to come back in the studio. When we go back in the studio and we've got the social distancing, you can talk to me and we could have a better chat. And we could possibly talk about your games, your recent games, or your kind of what happened. And just the banter that you've got with each other, because I'm sure there's a lot of banter that you've got.
Yeah.
But you've been an absolute credit for everybody on this show today. You've showed the next generation of potential cricketers that just keep going, don't give in, just keep pushing. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having us. It was a good platform for us to share our story, and I think this will boost us more to just share our journey with younger cricketers and push them, whether it's in our school or in the club.
How have you enjoyed the show?
Oh,
it's been fun. It's been great.
You've got amazing smiles. Keep those smiles, because I'll tell you what, honestly, just the smiles alone, when you meet people or you bring people into your team, they're the biggest things that make people feel so safe and secure. Keep doing it. Keep shaking. I know that I should be saying shaking hands, especially with this period that we're going through. But that camaraderie, you'll never get it anywhere else. It's just that thing that teaches you. You'll have it for the rest of your lives in whatever you do. Thank you so much for coming on the show today again. You've been absolutely tremendous guests, and it's been a pleasure interviewing you. Honestly, you're the nicest people. Keep on going, showing people how to play cricket. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed the show as much as that I have today, especially. As you can see, two great guests today, two wonderful young men that have had to put sacrifice with their education, with their sports, with not going out with their friends. It's all been very, very focused. And look, you still see the smiles on their face. So they haven't missed too much, because they're still giving each other, whether it's the bowling they're hitting each other with, or the knocking them for six. You can see that they have fun. So don't feel so sorry about it. But they've done wonderful to get into the national team. Congratulations, guys. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for everybody for listening. And see you tomorrow. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. How did you enjoy that?
It was fun.
It was really fun.
It was really fun.
Good fun.
It was, honestly, what I said there is because I'm terrible with names as well. I'm sorry if I've messed up with the names a little bit. I don't even get my own kids right. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I try and stay away from names. as much as possible. So I'm sorry if I got them wrong in sometimes. The one thing that I would say to you today that I'm so impressed with, and believe me, I am so impressed. And I've seen people like yourself before, and sometimes they can be a little bit arrogant or too overconfident. You are two of the nicest people. You think about your family. It's your family that's important to you. You said all the right things, and it was wonderful to listen to you both. And I wish you every success in the future. And I am watching. Please keep in touch with me. Let me know how you're getting on. And please come on the show. If one of you gets into the first team, okay, come on the show. Okay, come back on the show and tell me all about it. I want to see you do well, honestly. I really do. And I think you both will do well. You've got the right makeup. You're flipping. You've been a pleasure. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much indeed. And I hope you did enjoy it as much as I did.
Yeah, I did.
Good